In today's video, Neville Goddard talks about a very intriguing subject. According to Neville, you are given two abilities that nobody else in the world possesses besides humans, and when you combine these abilities, you are invincible. Let's examine them and how to use them. According to Neville, if we can manage our inner dialogue and align it with our satisfied ones, we can set aside all other processes and just act on the basis of a clear intention and imagination. We imagine the wistful sensation and engage in internal dialogue based on that assumption. The speech you use when you achieve your aim is a proper inner speech. In other words, it is a speech of a wish that has been gratified. You'll understand why now that you know how astute the ancient was. He wrote in his work Hermetica that God had given only man and no other mortal creature two gifts. These two are the powers of the mind and speech, and they're akin to immortality. If a man uses these to do things correctly, he won't be different from the immortals in any way. When he leaves his body, his mind, speech, and these will serve as his guides, leading him into the reality of the gods and the self who attained joy. We now only need to keep in mind three things. First and foremost, always operate from a place of clarity of thought and intention. Focusing on your inner dialogue is the best way to do this. If they start arguing or expressing skepticism, stop them. New beginnings note how powerful this is and how good it feels. Second, you keep having conversations in your head that presuppose we've already experienced and achieved your goal. The most frequent error people make when working with Neville is not picturing what they want. Instead, creating mental conversations gets you to focus on something that has already occurred. When someone speaks as if something has already been done, you are in a state of having your wish granted. Third, by creating hypothetical discussions like this, you may create perfect harmony between your thoughts and your voice, and after doing it frequently enough, it will become second nature. Before we continue, let's let Neville speak for himself. If you enjoy videos like these, make sure to click the bell icon and subscribe to our channel. Be sure to pay close attention. Enjoy!
God the Father has given Himself to us. Yet this gift is still to be realized in experience. It remains a goal to be attained. Now let us see how you and I, who possess the gift, become aware of it. I absolutely believe 100% the statement of Shakespeare in As You Like It. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. He confines the parts from the cradle to the grave, beginning with the little infant mewling and puking in his nurse's arm, and ends with the end where a doting man, sans teeth, sans eyes, sans everything. But I'm going to expand that beyond this little section of time, from the cradle to the grave, because I speak from experience. I'll go along with Blake. I behold the visions of my dead sleep of 6,000 years, dazzling around thy skirts like a serpent of precious stones and gold. I know thou art myself, O my Creator and Redeemer. Now here we take a play, and try to follow me closely with this play. I tell you it is true. Judge not the play until the play is done. The last act crowns the play. The last act we call Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is the very center, the way in Judaism, the way out of bondage into liberty. Now think of a play in this form. Think of a vast play, 6,000 years. The whole thing is scattered. And you think it must begin at one point and come to an end in one linear motion. But think of the entire play as taking place. Think of it as something that is taking place absolutely and continuously. A play without reference to duration, to repetition, to position in time. Just think of it. It's taking place. And in the end, when you're crowned, having gone through all the parts, you played every part. Then the scattered play in time, portions of it are brought into one wonderful state. A portion in Genesis, pardon me, that took place, if you read the play chronologically, thousands of years ago. And two angels came to the house of Lot. And Lot received them into his house. And then the men on the outside knocked on the door and demanded the one who was on the inside, the stranger. Lot pleaded with them not to take the man. But he had two virgin daughters. Take them instead, but not the stranger in my house. They demanded the stranger in the house, not knowing the stranger was a messenger from God. And a messenger from God is God. I, who am sent, I am one with the sender. If you see me, the sent, you see the one who sent me. And he was sent by God the Father with the power and the wisdom to do anything on earth. And so they insisted on the man, not knowing who he was. And the man took Lot. By the way, the word Lot means to veil, to conceal, to wrap. So he took Lot by the neck and pulled him into the house and closed the door, then blinded all those who saw it, so they could not find the door. It is telling you that Lot is not revealing, he is concealing a great secret. The word Lot means to veil, to cover, to conceal a great secret. So behind the story there is a secret. On the outside, the men are seeking a man rather than a woman. It is telling you they are homosexual. That's what the story is telling you. It is the story of Sodom. And then comes the power from within. And he blessed the city and brought down fire and brimstone and destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. We have the word today, Sodom, as sodomy, which is simply homosexuality. Here the whole thing was destroyed because they insisted on the stranger not knowing the stranger was the one sent from God. That is a foreshadow, just a shadow of things to come. When you come to the end, here is a story told thousands of years before. It's linked to a story told thousands of years later, and then linked to a story told another 1,000 years. Here we take this story, and prior to that, which is the 19th chapter of Genesis I've just spoken, we go back and we take the story of Abraham. And he was sitting in the tent, the door of the tent, when suddenly three men appeared before him. He didn't see them approaching. They suddenly appeared and announced the birth of a son. He couldn't believe it. He was too old, and Sarah was too old. There was the announcement. You take that story, you take the story of the homosexuality, then we jump 1,000 years into the story told in Samuel. And the story of Samuel. Here is a lad who refused to wear the armament of men. They gave him the sword, the shield, everything. He said, I cannot wear these. And he went unarmed, only armed with the grace of God. A youth, a young lad, his name was David. He took 5 stones and went forward to meet the giant who would destroy, if he could, destroy Israel. And when he saw the youth, he laughed. This ridiculous little thing coming toward me. And David said to him, this day, the Lord of Israel, who goes with me, will deliver you into my hand. And I will sever your head and feed your carcass to the fowls of the air. And that day, one stone went through the forest, and he fell. He had no sword of his own, so he took the sword from Goliath and severed his head. And then threw the garment to the fowls of the air, then brought the head into the presence of the king, who had promised to set his father free if he destroyed the enemy of Israel. For anyone who destroyed the enemy of Israel, his father would be set free. Now you take these stories. Now we go into the New Testament, which is another jump of 1,000 years. What think ye of the Christ? Whose son is he? And they answered, the son of David. He said, how then did David in the Spirit call him my Lord? If David in the Spirit called him my Lord, how can he be David's son? And they asked him no more.